Hello, in this video you will learn how to solve problems involving the midpoint. So we have two types of problems. The one on the left, you're given two endpoints. That means that there's a point, there's another point, and you're trying to find the midpoint. The midpoint would be the point right in the middle. So we're trying to find the point in red. Midpoint. In order to find the midpoint, we need to understand what does the midpoint mean. Midpoint is the point right in the middle of these 2 points. That means that the distance from here, from the top point to the red point, is the same as the distance from the red point to the bottom point. So if this is 10, this would be 10. If this is 6, this would be 6, and so on. They're exactly the same because the point it's in the middle. So one way to approach this without using the formula is we have to figure out what the distance is between -3 and 5. So if you have a -3 and you have a 5, there's a 0 in between. From -3 to 0, the distance is 3. From 0 to 5, the distance is 5. Adding those two together lets me know that the total distance between -3 and 5 is 8. So and we're talking about the x-coordinate. If the x-coordinate, this distance right here is 8, what would be half of that? Half of that is 4. That means that from -3 to here, we need to be doing +4. And that would give us -3 plus 4 is 1. Similarly, we have to do the same thing for the y's. We have 4 and a -2. So -2 is here, 4 is here, 0 is in between. The distance between -2 and 0 is 2. The distance between 0 and 4 is 4. That means that the total distance between -2 and 4 is 6. If the distance from one end to the other is 6, the distance to the middle would be half of that, which is 3. That means that to go from -2 to the middle, that would be -2 plus 3 is 1. The reason I started from the bottom on the second one is because I always start from the smallest number, and the smallest number is -2. Now, if we go to the problem on the right, this is slightly different. We are given one endpoint, we are given the midpoint, and we are trying to figure out the coordinate for the other endpoint, the one in red. Same as before, the distance from here from the endpoint to the midpoint and midpoint to the other endpoint is the same. So if this is 5, this one would also be 5. We're going to be using that to our advantage. Let's start with the x-coordinate. So how do I go from -8 to 2? I would be adding 10. And in order for me to keep this distance the same, I need to be adding 10 to get to the other endpoint. That gives me 2 plus 10, that would be 12. Similarly, I will be doing that for the y. The distance from -9 to 9 is +0. If I want to keep the same distance, I would have to add 0 to get to the new coordinate of the y. So -9 plus 0 is still -9.